If you'd like to make your NFL games a little more interesting, you've come to the right place. It's the Even Money Podcast with Ross Tucker and Steve Fezzik.
Yeah, Vegas, baby, Vegas. It is the Even Money Podcast presented by DraftKings, America's #1 rated sportsbook app. We love DraftKings. They got a special giveaway, by the way. Anybody that signs up for DraftKings this week and puts the code Ross in, takes a screenshot of it on their phone, gets the DraftKings app, puts the code Ross in, screenshots that, send it to me, I will send you a card or a picture signed. Every one of you. There's no like, hey, you enter to win. No, every single one of you that goes ahead and just signs up for the DraftKings app, puts the code in Ross, you tell me you want a signed like 4x6, send you a nice mailer envelope or a signed football card, Cowboys, Redskins, Bills. You guys tell me you got it. I am Ross Tucker, former NFL offensive lineman, 5 teams, 7 years. Had a blast, awesome temp job in my 20s. Now I got 5 podcasts as part of the Ross Tucker Podcast Network, including this one, Even Money, which is extremely popular, as you might imagine, because Steve and I do well and because betting is popular. At Ross Tucker NFL, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We have a YouTube page, youtube.com/Ross Tucker NFL. And a lot of you have been signing up to become patrons, patreon.com/RT Media. Why? Because if you become a Tuckheads level patron, you can see in black and white all of Steve and I's bets every single week. So you don't need to write them down while you're working out or while you're driving. You don't need to listen back a second time. You can just go ahead and become a patron, patreon.com/RT Media. We, by the way, are at Ross Tucker Pod on social media, Twitter and Instagram. I've mentioned Steve's name twice now. That's Steve Fezzik, of course, at Fezzik Sports on Twitter, the only 2-time winner of the Super Bowl of professional football gambling, the Westgate, at the Westgate Super Contest out there in Vegas. Hello, Steve.
How are you, Ross? We're halfway through, and it's an election day.
Yeah, I don't know when everybody listens to the show. Hopefully they listen to it as soon as possible because we usually give them some pretty good line value. I swear every week, Steve, when we do this and we give out our bets, the lines move in our direction more often than not. But how about this? For people that listen, do you have I think you can do it offshore. I don't even know what DraftKings has up on the election stuff. Do you have any election betting thoughts, Steve?
So Biden is currently a -210 favorite. That means he should win about 2/3 of the time. If you were going to make one bet on the election, I think you should bet Biden, risk $9 to win $1 to win the popular vote. Let's face it, Hillary Clinton won the popular vote by, I think, 48% to 46%. So the polling can be inaccurate and the like, but it would have to be so significantly inaccurate to swing all the way that Trump would win the popular vote. It is probably like a 5% chance at most. And I think that I'm being extremely generous that Trump would win the popular vote. So laying 9 to make $1, I hate to say it's free money, but it's going to win, Ross.
Got it. All right. Well, I appreciate that. Is a good tip. Speaking of good tips, we had a couple listeners that said, hey, can you guys give out at least a forced lean on every game? So we're doing that now for you guys. We also are going ahead and letting you know where you can get all of our picks at patreon.com/RT Media. So we are improving. Please help us. Please spread the word to your friends and family members. And also, please, if you haven't already, get that DraftKings app on your phone. More on that later. Steve, week 8 was a battle, an absolute battle for me, man. And I thought I was this close to coming out ahead of the ledger until Daniel Jones converted a 4th and 6, a 4th and 5, a 4th and 16. Levante David drops a pick, and Daniel Jones throws a beautiful pass to Golden Tate, and my Eagles-Bucks 2-team teaser busts. I would have been up 1 unit for the week if that cashed. Instead, I was down 3 units, 4-unit swing based on the Bucs not being able to stop the Giants on that last drive. That hurts. I mean, that is a big swing. So anyway, I was down 3 units for the week. You were up 1 unit. We will dive into it. Looking at our best bets, we were 1-1 on our best bets. Our first best bet, and by the way, these are all what the lines were last week on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. So every line we ever give you is what it is at DraftKings as we're recording the show, which is once again back to noon on Tuesday, noon Eastern on Tuesday. So trying to get you the lines pretty early. Steve, we both had the Panthers laying 2.5. They lost by 8 to the Falcons. That was the best bet. We both put 1 unit up. We were just wrong. Kudos to the Falcons for coming out and playing hard. They won the game. They were the better team. And I had a lot this week, Steve. If I'm being honest, I was just wrong on, and this is one of them.
Yeah, and Julio Jones makes that team so much better. He was not healthy the first half of the year. He's had 3 straight big games, and Falcons are certainly undervalued. Considering they had 3 losses where they had over a 96% chance to win, here's a 2-6 team that really should be at least 4-4.
Colts, Lions. I leaned Colts. You leaned Lions, and then you actually had the Lions as part of your teaser with the Eagles. That did not work. You teased the Lions up to 10. They got slaughtered in the game, 41-21. So neither one of our teasers, my Eagles, Bucks, your Eagles, Lions, neither one of our teasers came through for us, unfortunately. Then we get to Vikings, Packers. You know, I got hurt this week, Steve, by going against my philosophy. I usually take the points. This week, Panthers were a favorite, cost me. Packers laying 6.5. They lose the game outright to the Vikings, and I lose a unit there. You took the under 53.5 for 2 units in Vikings, Packers. That came through for you, Steve. Well done. I am still surprised the Packers are only able to score 22 points in that game.
Yeah, and then as a pro gambler, there's nothing better than playing something like under 53.5 that winds up closing 49 and lands in the middle. And you got there because you got to the number early, got the weather report early. And that's really what separates the winning bettors from the non-winning bettors, is making bets at numbers that are impossible to get at post. And they call it closing line value, CLV. You want to tell me, you want to ask me, am I going to win as a sports bettor? I don't need to see how you did your last 100 bets. All I need to see is what your closing line value is. If it's not positive, you are not going to win.
Patriots, Bills. I leaned Bills. You put 1 unit on the Bills. Patriots almost won the game, almost tied it. Bills were laying 3.5. I don't know if that game said more about the Patriots or the Bills, Steve.
Says something about that Bills defense that in 25-mile-an-hour winds and with the Pats being down their top 2 wide receivers, that the Pats still had 21 points and were driving for another score. That Bills defense was really good last year. It's no good this year.
Titans, Bengals. The Titans were laying 6 points on the DraftKings Sportsbook app, and you and I both leaned Tennessee. I'm glad that's all we did. They lost the game outright by 11. Raiders, Browns. I put a unit on the Browns laying the 2.5, and they lost by 10. They lost outright by 10. You put 2 units on the under. Steve, you killed it with the weather last week, man. I had not looked ahead that much. I had not seen that the weather was going to be that bad. 16-6, and you got it under 52.5. You got to be kidding me. The field goals are going sideways. You killed it with the look-ahead weather, Steve, and that's why you were up for the week, and that's why I was down for the week. Man, I wish I had, trailed your picks there. You were all over it.
Yeah, and even on Sunday morning, They flashed around the country, and you could see there was going to be windy in Chicago, windy in Green Bay, but then they went to the mistake on the lake at Cleveland, and you see the white caps in Lake Erie going up and down, and the wind blowing at 45 miles an hour, and that was clearly the most significant weather of the day. And oftentimes, line moves are too big for weather-related games, especially snow games. But 40 is like a magic number. When the wind goes to 40, Ross, you ever playing a game with the wind over 40 miles an hour?
Yes, I did. Yeah. You can go back and check. I want to say it might have been the Rams 2004, but there was a game where Ryan Lindell, our field goal kicker, kicked like maybe a 38-yarder, 42-yarder, something like that, Steve. It went up, stopped, came back, and landed at my feet. Landed at my feet, a 40-yard field goal. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen, which is why it was an unbelievable job by Zerline to kick that like knuckler line drive the other night for the Cowboys.
Yeah, the stinger, Tiger Woods style, never gets more than 20 feet off the ground, absolutely. But like these badass wind games, especially when it's a crosswind, is ideal. When it's a headwind, tailwind, it's not as good because a team that has the wind has such a significant advantage with the ball. But when you get those crosswinds, can't kick, can't throw, can't score.
So Jets, Chiefs, neither one of us placed a wager there. Rams, Dolphins, neither one of us wanted to get involved there. Steelers, Ravens. I put 1 unit on the Steelers getting the 4. You put 1 unit on the Ravens laying the 4. At DraftKings, Steelers win outright 28-24. Boy, the Ravens were the better team in that game. I mean, you just can't turn the football over like that. But that's going to be a killer loss for them.
And that's what Lamar Jackson does in the biggest games. He doesn't come through, and that ultimately, I'm not going to say I made a good bet because I don't think I did, because how many times do we have to see it with Lamar Jackson? Avoid him in the biggest games. Just bet him to be a bully and crush bad teams.
Let's get to Chargers Broncos, Steve. We both took the Broncos getting 3.5 points. That was pretty fortunate how that collapse went down, how the pass interference with 1 second left, the KJ Hamler touchdown. You know what, Steve? It counts, though. I apologize for nothing because we lose a lot of games like that, but that was fortuitous is how I will describe it. 2 units each, and it was a best bet.
Chargers are now 0-3 with 17-point leads. The rest of the NFL, 52-4. This is the rare Charger collapse. I can't blame this one on Anthony Lynn. It was just a confluence of unfortunate events if you bet on the Chargers.
Saints, Bears. I put a unit on the Bears getting the 4. They came through for me. I'm telling you, man, underdogs getting the points. That's my jam. Niners, Seahawks, except for this one. I put 2 units on the Niners getting 3 points. They lost 37-27. Jimmy G was terrible. They were bad. The Seahawks defense actually looked decent in that one. And ultimately, I went ahead and lost 2 units there. That hurt. Cowboys, Eagles is one leg of my teaser. Giants, Bucks, the other leg of my teaser. We already talked about that. So again, Steve, for week 8, I was down 3 units. That stunk. You were up a unit, which is nice. 1 for 1 on our best bets. Year to date, I am still up 16 units. You are now up 4 units. So you're coming along there, Steve. And our best bets, 14-9. So we still have a 61% success rate on our best bets. Let's dive into week 9 in the National Football League.
All right, Ross, started off with week 9 on Thursday Night Football. The Green Bay Packers at the San Francisco 49ers. Green Bay laying 4 points with a total of 50.5.
So this line has been all over the place this morning, and that's because of the news about Niners injuries and now contact tracing for the Packers, and Jamal Williams won't play. It appears they'll have to go with 2 running backs who have very little experience. there's just too much unknown, too much uncertainty for me here. I guess I would take the Niners and the points if you're forcing a lean for you guys because of the uncertainty. Maybe I would take Nick Mullins and the Niners. He looked pretty good when he was out there, but no George Kittle hurts. I'm going to pass. I'll lean Niners.
I'll lean Niners as well. Also on these Thursday games, you don't want to be traveling significantly on a short week. That's been a profit maker to just take the home team in those circumstances. And I got to tell you, this line has moved so dramatically early in the week. It was below 3, and now that it's up to 4 and 5, it's getting to the point where I think we're going to have to play the Niners. But I'm greedy. I think it might go up to 6. 6 would be my buy price.
Steve, let's go to Sunday where the Seattle Seahawks are 2.5-point favorites at the Buffalo Bills. Total 54.
So I have to pass on the Bills, even though there looks to be some value here. I thought that defensive performance was terrible against New England in bad conditions. Like I mentioned, top wide receivers out for New England, and New England easily could have put 24, 27, 28 on them before the final Cam fumble. So if anything, I would lean Seattle, but I pass.
Yeah, I'm going to pass this one as well. I would probably lean Seattle also. I don't like what I'm seeing from the Bills defensively, and the Seahawks defense looked a little bit better. So this is a lean Seattle for me, but I'm not going to pull the trigger on it as well for the reasons you mentioned, Steve.
All right, Ross, the Denver Broncos, they're getting 4 points at the Atlanta Falcons, total 50.
Yeah, so listen, the Broncos got fortunate last week. The Falcons get a little extra time to prepare. But who are the Falcons to be laying 4 points? I still just don't see it. I'm going to roll with Denver again. They got some momentum. They're feeling good about themselves. I think they can keep it close against the Falcons. I think it's a toss-up. I wouldn't be surprised if the Broncos won the game. So Denver +4, 2 units.
Going to play the total. I'll go over the 50 for 2 units. Denver and Drew Lock got their mojo back. Although Drew Lock really should have been penalized 15 yards for the world's worst celebration dance after his 2 touchdowns at the end of the game. And certainly Atlanta with Julio Jones can put up some significant points. So party with Drew Lock, and we'll go over.
Steve, the Chicago Bears are getting 5.5 points at the Tennessee Titans. Our total in this one is 46.5.
Boy, the markets just love these Titans, don't they? Doesn't matter that the Titans give up 31 points to the Bengals. Bengals were down 3 of their best O-linemen, and the wind was blowing in the Queen City. Titans couldn't stop them at all. I don't understand this love for the Tennessee Titans. I have them rated as my 13th best team, and there's no way they should be laying this many points. I'll take the Bears 2 units.
I'm with you on this one, Steve. This does not make a whole lot of sense to me. I will take the Chicago Bears. Look, I think this will be a really close game. Could go either way. The Bears don't get blown out. Their defense is too good. Now, the Titans traded for Desmond King. I don't think it makes that much of a difference. Bears getting the 5.5. I'm with you. 2 units. Best bet.
The best bet.
Ross, the Detroit Lions are getting 4.5 points. The Minnesota Vikings with a total of 53.
Yeah, a lot of love given evidently to the Vikings for that performance against the Packers. Lions got beat down pretty badly. I guess I understand that, but I don't think these teams are that different. I think these teams are actually very similar. 4.5 points is too many. So I'll take it. Detroit Lions +4.5, 2 units against the Vikings.
I agree. The line has adjusted for Kenny Galladay being out, who's a big deal, but he's not that big of a deal. Now that it's at 4.5, sure. Give me the Lions 2 units, best bet.
The best bet.
Steve, the Baltimore Ravens coming off after that loss. They are in Indianapolis, and they are still 3-point favorites, 44.5 the total.
Yeah, what a disappointment for them to lose to the Steelers. I don't know what to make of that really good game that Indianapolis played. Getting Darius Leonard was really important on defense back. I'm going to pass this game.
Yeah, I kind of going back and forth on this one, whether I want to play. I mean, I would not lay the points with the Ravens. It's either the Colts or not play it. I like that the Colts offense is playing better, and now there's no Ronnie Stanley for the Ravens. I'll put 1 unit on the Colts at home getting 3 points.
Ross, the Houston Texans are laying 6.5 points at the Jaguars, 51.5 the total.
It appears as if the Jaguars are playing a rookie quarterback in Jake. I don't know if it's Luton or Luton. I don't know how to even say his last name. That's a new betting philosophy for me, Steve. If I'm not 100% sure how to say the quarterback's last name, I'm staying away from that game. So I'm staying away from the Texans and Jaguars until at least I find out how to say Jake Luton or Luton's last name. This is a no play for me. I guess I would lay the points with the Texans. The Jags are bad. They're about sort of 6th-round rookie quarterback, but it's just a lean. It's not an official play for me.
Yeah, it's always great when there are complete unknowns like Ben DiNucci for Dallas, and there's no real way to even quantify anything on him because you don't have any preseason reps even. Easy pass.
Steve, the Giants at the Washington football team. Washington favored by 3 with a total of 41.5.
So when these two teams just played recently, we talked about neither one of these teams can be favored by 3. Home field's not worth very much. I don't think anything's really changed. So we took the points in the last game. We'll take the points here. I'll take the Washington football team plus the field goal, 2 units.
Well, wait a minute.
Correction. I'll take the New York Giants football team plus the 3 points, 2 units. Thank you.
Yeah, this was 3.5 like an hour ago when I was prepping for the show, and I loved it at 2 units. Tell me this, Steve. Is it rational? I was going to have 2 units on the Giants at plus 3.5. Now that it's plus 3, I kind of only want to do 1 unit. Is that mathematically rational, or am I totally stupid?
Oh, it's completely rational to bet a whole lot less on that game because when a team's favored by 3, they win by 3 almost 10% of the time. So you could well justify that you had a 57% bet plus 3.5 that essentially has become a 52% bet at plus 3.
Right, but I still just push.
Yes, but if you're a 52% bet laying at minus $1.10 is a losing bet, and a 57% bet laying minus $1.10 is like a 10% return on investment.
Got it. All right, well, I'm going to go 1 unit on the Giants getting 3 points now. That's what my gut tells me. My gut's been very good to me on this show. So Giants plus the 3, 1 unit. It's another best bet.
The best bet.
Ross, the next game is the Las Vegas Chargers. The Las Vegas Raiders. They're at the LA Chargers, and Chargers favored by 1.5 with a total of 53.
This is another one that's annoying me. Oh, what'd you say? Chargers favored by 1.5?
Yes.
Okay, great. Then I'm going to tease up the Raiders to getting 7.5. I'll tease the Raiders up to 7.5, and I'm going to pair that with New England teasing the Patriots down to -1 against the Jets. So Vegas Raiders up to plus 7.5, Patriots down to -1. To be my only 2-team teaser this week. That is a 2-unit teaser.
I'm going to pass this game. This is one of those games where no fans is going to significantly help one of the 2 teams, but it's going to help the home team because the Chargers would have had to deal with the stadium that was taken over by all the Southern California Raider fans. And so now that there are no fans, that actually benefits the Chargers of all people. I'll lean Chargers.
Steve, the next game is Pittsburgh and Dallas, and there's no line. Is that because of Andy Dalton's status?
Yes. So no one has a line on it.
All right. So we will move on to Miami at Arizona. And what do we got here? 4.5 points. The Cardinals are favored with a total of 47.5.
So strong lean to Arizona. One of the weirdest games you'll ever see is the Miami Dolphin victory over the Rams, where they win by 11 points. First downs 31-8 in favor of the Rams. Yardage over 300 yards in favor of the Rams. Tua basically didn't have to do anything because the Dolphins, of their 28 points scored, they had punt return touchdown, fumble 6 touchdown, fumble return to the 1-yard line, and a 33-yard touchdown drive. So basically 3 special teams, defensive scores, and a real short drive on offense. So on the scoreboard, impressive. Actual results, didn't get to see much of Tua at all because he just had to hand the ball off for the entire game. I think Miami overvalued based upon that game. I'd look Arizona.
Yeah, Tua did not play very well. Cardinals coming off a bye. I'm not going to play the game. I would lean Miami getting the 4.5 the way that defense is playing, but I just don't feel good enough about Tua yet to be comfortable betting on him.
Sunday Night Football, Ross. The Tampa Bay Bucks are at home against the New Orleans Saints. Tampa Bay favored by 5.5, and the total is 52.
Yeah, that's too much for me. The Bucks have kind of been hit or miss a little bit. I think they're a very good team, but the Saints stay with you. I mean, the Saints are not going to get blown out. I think the Saints could win the game. So if you're going to give me 5.5 points, I'll take it. New Orleans plus the 5.5 against the Bucks, coming off a tough Monday night game. New Orleans plus 5.5, 2 units.
Makes a lot of sense to me. This is a game. If the Saints win this game, I think we're all going to be in agreement saying, you know what, the Saints are the slightly better team. And we're going to look back on this line. They're like, but they were catching 5.5 points against an inferior foe. I mean, both these teams are really close in my power ratings. I do have Tampa Bay just slightly better right now, but with a limited home field advantage, sure. Give me the Saints, 2 units.
Monday Night Football.
Best bet.
That is a bet. Sorry about that.
The best bet.
All right, now Monday Night Football. It's the Patriots and the Jets. Ross, we already had your Patriot bet, but Steve, we'll start with you. The Patriots, 7-point favorites at the Jets. Total is 41.
So what's interesting is that the Patriots cover against Buffalo, but I downgraded them because I think everyone knows it's over. It's over for the Patriots. Dream crusher. They're not going to the playoffs now. How will this team respond to Belichick and the intensity that is the New England Patriots? I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be positive. I know this. The Jets have one cover this year, and it was a fortuitous one when Buffalo imploded in the red zone. I don't want the Jets. I pass.
Yep, I already mentioned this. I'm teasing the Patriots down to -1. Look, I mean, the Patriots are going to win the game. The Jets are not beating the New England Patriots in this game. Maybe the Jets can keep it interesting or close, but they're not going to win the game late. I just can't imagine that would happen. So, again, I'm teasing the Patriots with the Las Vegas Raiders as my 2-unit teaser. Brian, before I forget, do you have another one or no?
No. Do I have another what?
Did we skip Carolina, Kansas City? Did I miss that one?
We did.
I've got here on the DraftKings Sportsbook app, I've got Kansas City laying 10.5. Kansas City's laying 10.5. The total is 53. What do you have, Steve?
I'm going to pass this game. I will say, boy, is Kansas City like the quietest Super Bowl champion ever. They just roll along, do their business. No one really talking about them too much. And I know in the futures odds, Kansas City's sitting still at plus 350. And boy, that looks cheap to me for the clear-cut favorite to win the Super Bowl. So I'm going to pass this game. If you haven't bet Kansas City to win the Super Bowl, though, I'd go ahead and bite a piece of them. Remember, there's if things go according to Hoyle, there's going to be 7 playoff teams in the AFC, and only one gets a bye. And that's very likely right now, I believe, to be Kansas City, not Pittsburgh, not Baltimore. So Kansas City to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so I would lean Carolina here, getting the 10.5 points. I was strongly considering putting a unit on it. They played Thursday. Bad loss for them against the Falcons. I kind of feel like the young Carolina team will come out and be able to hang. It's just hard. The Chiefs are able to score in bunches, so hard for me to do it. I'll just lean Carolina. I will not actually do it. That'll do it, by the way, for this week's Even Money podcast. Remember Steve's tip on betting the election. If you listen to this in time, you can always check us out, youtube.com/Ross Tucker NFL. You can always get all of these picks written down. Patreon.com/RT Media. Sign up to be a Tuckhead and get access to our private Slack channel. You'll love it, and you'll get all the bets in written form, which is nice. And other than that, remember, you sign up for the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Send me an email, ross@rosstucker.com with a screenshot of you doing it. I'll send you a signed picture or card. You tell me what you'd like. Other than that, good luck, everybody. Hope you guys win some money.
Thanks for listening to the Even Money Podcast. Make sure to also subscribe to the Ross Tucker Football Podcast, The Fantasy Feast, Business of Sports, and the College Draft. All available at Apple Podcasts, rosstucker.com, or wherever podcasts can be found.